Would you like to see a GED writing example to help you pass the GED Language Arts section? Then you're going to want to stick around. Hi, this is Parker here from Test Prep Champions to help you pass the GED fast, and you can get started by clicking the subscribe button down below. So in this video, I'm really excited to share a GED writing sample from a real GED test taker who sent me this GED writing example. So we're going to go through this, I'm going to break it down, and what I want you to do is I want you to pay attention for things that you like that you can take away and use in your own writing, and things that you would change. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's start with the prompt here. So basically the prompt says to read two different journal articles and to then make an argument over which position is better supported. And it's not necessary to read the essays here or to really know the prompt that well to still get the most out of this video, but I'll put a link down below for anybody who wants to check this out on their own. So here's the actual student's writing that was sent to me, and you can pause the video and read it if you want, but you don't have to because we're just going to break it down anyway. So right off the bat here, I've highlighted a few things that I would recommend you to change here. First, you say that e-learning was told to companies, and this is perfectly grammatically correct, not necessarily anything wrong with it, but I just think it would flow a little bit better here if we changed it to companies were told that e-learning was more cheap and effective. And again, the way you have it is grammatically correct. I just think it would be more clear if we tweak it a little bit. So also here we see the word that, and you have a comma before the quote here, and that comma is not necessary, so we're going to get rid of that comma. And then you have classroom written as two words, but we can write that as just one word, so we can get rid of the space there. And then the last sentence here in this second paragraph reads, person-to-person learning and in classroom will be more engaging, and you could ask for help unliking e-learning. And so we're going to change unliking to unlike, and we're going to put a comma after the word help. All right, and so lastly here in your conclusion, you say it won't significantly help you and it'll just be a nuisance to your overall learning. I want to change significant to significantly, and the reason we're doing this is because the adjective significant is modifying the word help instead of modifying a noun or a pronoun. So to modify verbs or adjectives, we want to use an adverb, and we're going to use significantly, which is an adverb. Now, you don't necessarily have to know all of these grammatical little nuances and details and rules because they are kind of confusing. One trick that you can do is you can just read your writing out loud or read it in your head and just see if it flows. And so the flow here, it won't significantly help you, okay, versus it won't significantly help you. Usually we would want to say in common language significantly, so that's why we're going to change significant to significantly. And then also I've highlighted the word you here, and let me just make a point here. You know, you didn't do anything wrong by saying the word you, so don't think that you did. It's just that in formal writing we typically don't want to use words like you, we, or I. And so I've actually had a conversation with another GED test prep instructor who has helped dozens of students pass, because I get this question a lot, and really there's no indication in the official scoring guidelines that using these words like you or we or I are going to give you a penalty. And in fact, both me and the other instructor agreed that there is really no guideline. There's no indication that you will lose points for that. So you didn't do anything wrong here, but just to be on the safe side, since in formal writing we don't usually want to use these words, let's just change you to something else like students. All right. And so here I've made some changes here. So as we can see, I've changed the first sentence to companies were told that e-learning was more cheap and effective, and I've got rid of that comma after that, and I made a couple other tweaks here. I changed unliking to unlike, and then I fixed those things in the last paragraph, so it's going to flow a little bit more smoothly. And so really my style of writing, you may know this from my other videos, is the 5-paragraph essay, which is a great way to take down the essay on the GED test. It involves starting with an introduction, which is 1 paragraph, the body, which will have 3 different body paragraphs, and then lastly you'll end with a conclusion, which is 1 paragraph, and you want to shoot for between 3 to 7 sentences per paragraph. So just know here that as we go through your writing here, I want to break this down a little bit more in depth, that this is basically the criteria that I'm looking for here. And so you start off here with an introductory sentence, and then we see your body paragraph next, and then your conclusion. So we're going to look at that first sentence next, and that's why I've highlighted that in yellow. So what I really like here is that you're making it really clear which position you believe is the least well-supported position. So good job with that. You say game-based learning is ineffective and flawed, so I really have no doubts about what you're going to argue in this piece. So you're definitely on the right track with that sentence here, but I suggest also stating that the other position is better directly, because in the prompt they do want you to state your own claim about which position is best supported. So just make sure that we do that here. And this statement here is called a thesis statement, just kind of a technical word, not super important to know, but if you hear anyone talking about a thesis statement, just know that that's what a thesis statement is. It's just a statement that lays out your argument here. And so we could change it to something like this. We could say the person-to-person method is better supported by the evidence than game-based learning, which is ineffective and flawed. And so I'm still using the part of your writing where you said that it's ineffective and flawed, but I just also wanted to make sure that we make it clear which position you think is best supported, as well as which position you think is least supported. But it's really important that we nail which position is best supported. So I just modified that a little bit. That's just an example of one way that you can do it here. And so the way that you want to do an introduction, you want to break it down into a topic sentence, and then you'll want to state author A's position, author B's position, and then you'll want to end with your own claim about which position is best supported. And so I've highlighted that last part in yellow because you actually just did a great job with that opening sentence that you had. With a small tweak, I think that you would have a very solid claim here. So let's move on to the body. And so I've highlighted the body here in yellow. And so the way that I teach body paragraphs is to start with a topic sentence, and then you'll want to do an explanation. And the explanation is really the critical part here. And if your explanation is maybe 2 to 3 sentences and the paragraph is already lengthy, you don't necessarily have to do a refutation for every body paragraph, but it can certainly help make your argument stronger. And so it's totally acceptable if you don't always do a refutation, but I would try to throw one in if you can, just because it will make your paper stronger. But here, let's break this down here. So what the first change that I would make is to definitely, once you go out of your introduction and you start your first body paragraph, I would add in a topic sentence here. And so that's just why I just started off. I just put topic sentence here with in bold, underlined with a period after it, just to make sure we add that topic sentence in there. And then you'll want to use a transitional phrase to start off that paragraph. You really want to start off every paragraph with a transitional phrase. And the transitional phrases are just phrases that connect ideas and make it easier for the reader to follow along. So here, these are some words that you can use to start a paragraph or for a list. So first, second, third, next, in addition, lastly, in the first place, in the second place, etc., etc. And so you could just start off with that topic sentence and put one of those words in. So that's how I would start off the body paragraph. And then it's really great here that you're using evidence from the passage to make your point, and you're using a quote here to support your point. So really great job there. You used a quote and you're mentioning a study from 2013, which that's strong evidence. Anytime you see like a research study or an academic study, it's usually going to be strong evidence, unless it's something from like the 1800s or the 1700s. But anything that's a fairly recent date is usually going to be considered strong evidence. So good job with that. So here again, I just want to remind everyone who's following along here that for your essay, you want to use 3 body paragraphs here. So for this writing sample, we're just showing 1 here, but just make sure that everyone who's watching this, that you know that you'll want to use 3 body paragraphs in your essay. All right, and so lastly, we'll look at your conclusion here, and I've highlighted 2 things here, but I've highlighted them to make good points here. So I first want to compliment you for starting your conclusion with the words "in conclusion." I mean, that's a phenomenal job with that here. That's an example of a transitional phrase, which is what I was just talking about here. So you did a great job with that. Everybody who's watching this, just you don't have to start off your conclusion with "in conclusion" if you want to use a different transitional phrase, but I think it makes a lot of sense just to start it with "in conclusion." So good job with that. And then also, I really like your last sentence here. I think you did a really good job of just summarizing the main point of your argument when you say it may be less expensive, but face-to-face learning is more efficient and helpful. So great job. Just a short sentence gets straight to the point here of summing up the whole entire argument here that you're trying to make here. And so I wouldn't really change anything about your conclusion here. I think that you did a fine job with it.
Understanding how to write the GED essay and understanding basic GED grammar rules are very, very important for the GED test, which is why I have videos on both of these topics. I have a video on how to write the GED essay, a complete overview, and I also have a video on must-know grammar lessons for the GED test, so you'll want to go watch one of those next, or check out my playlist on how to pass the GED fast. Thank you so much for watching. This is Parker from Test Prep Champions here to help you pass the GED test fast, and I wish you the best of luck with your studying.